Welcome everyone to the Expat Woman Show. Today we're going to talk about smooth transitions when you move to another country. And I'm really excited to have Arlette Chatlein. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. I should have checked with you before I went live. But she has actually been a speaker at the Expat Woman Summit in March this year. And I believe that's how we connected. I'm not sure how I met you, Arlette. Maybe I was looking for expat women who I wanted as speakers, and I found you on LinkedIn. But I'm so glad we made the connection. And Arlette is an expat partner coach, a mentor, and speaker, and has a very interesting expat background. So I'm actually going to have you share a little bit about what you do, Arlette, and also about where you currently are. In fact, where you are right now, and where you're moving to, because you are currently in transition. And I thought that's the perfect situation to be in for a topic like this. So go ahead, Arlette. Welcome.
Thank you, Nyna. Thank you for having me here on your podcast. And we did meet in March, and you found me to LinkedIn, and I'm so happy to be part of your community because what you're doing is just wonderful, and you are such a gracious host. So I know that from last time. So my name is Arlette Chatlein, and I was born in Curaçao and moved to the Netherlands at the age of 19 to study in Rotterdam. I have two kids. One of them had his formative years in the Netherlands, and the other one is a true TCK. So my expert journey actually starts in 2002 with our move to Lagos, Nigeria. And after repatriating to the Netherlands for about 9 years, we moved to Mumbai, and that was beginning of 2014. After that, to Milano, to Hanover in Germany, to Sao Paulo, and in a couple of weeks, I will be landing in Brussels. But at the moment, I am in Curaçao. Today, I'm in getting my last guest for the summer, and then the week after I will move to Brussels to start my life there, to really start landing and nesting.
Wow, wow. Well,
Yeah.
and I had no idea you had lived in this many countries. How many countries was that? And I read.
Wow. If you count, let's see, if it's so born in Curaçao, the Netherlands, Nigeria, Mumbai, Italy, Germany, Brazil, and now Belgium. It will be my eighth country to live in.
Wonderful. I mean, I don't have to say if I should say wonderful or oh my goodness.
Oh, it is. And the thing is, I love languages. So
Oh,
I'm at the moment I am diving into to resurrect my French, which I had
nice.
in high school. So yes, and trying to keep my Portuguese alive. So yeah,
Fantastic. Is that what they speak in Carousel? Is that what's the
no.
language?
In
What's
Curacao,
a
we
Dutch
have
colony?
yeah, it we had when I was growing up, all the schooling was in Dutch,
Uh-huh.
and I'm also maybe a little bit different from the yeah normal. Let me say normal. Normal is so strange a word. I had a mom with family with roots in Suriname, and my father with roots in Curacao. So I grew up speaking net Dutch and also Papiamentu, which is the language of Curacao.
Mm,
So I don't know better than switching between languages.
that's beautiful. Thank you. And
Yeah.
Daniela has joined us from Islamabad. Daniela was also a speaker at the summit, and she's been a
Yes.
guest on the Expat Woman Show. And I really appreciate you joining us. This is the second time Daniela has joined us on the show. I think she also joined us when I had Megan, who was another speaker from my summit on this
Yes.
show. So appreciate your support, Daniela. And I also think it's pretty late in Islamabad, maybe. But yeah, so, Arnett, actually, I was trying to pull up the questions. I was listening to you, but the reason you saw me looking down, I was pulling up the questions on
Okay.
my phone because I had some very specific questions for you. So, I thought maybe you shared a little bit about your expat journey, but you're also an expat partner coach. So maybe
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about that and what led you to becoming an expat partner coach and what does that work entail?
Okay. So in short, I decided to get certified, and that I
If I should say wonderful or
sorry.
no, no, that I opened my
Okay.
other laptop.
Oh,
See, this
okay,
is what
okay, okay.
technology does, right?
Oh,
And
but
this and it's
this is
playing on that laptop as well. So I'm
well,
sorry.
that's the
Hey, you.
beauty. That's the beauty of life. That's the
Yeah, and I
beauty
didn't
of
know
life.
I need again for a minute to turn the sound off, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry about
Yeah, yeah, no, 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 not a problem, not a problem. So what I was saying, I got certified because I saw I only got certified in Italy when we were living in Milano. But before that, and especially in Mumbai, I saw I was having conversation with with fellow expats, and I was seeing the impact it had that I was just listening without any judgment to whatever they were saying, the journey they were going through. And after being a listening ear for some years, at one point I decided to get certified because I really truly believed that I could help and support them much, much, much better with the right coaching tools. And that combined with my expert experience and how the countries, how that influenced the way I am coaching today. Um, to begin with, I think I see expats or expat lives, I see them as trees. You know, trees that are yanked out of the soil they are in and then planted into a new soil that can be fertile, that can be dry, it can be anything. And so every time we move, we go through that process. And in 2002, just before moving to Lagos, so my tree, like I say, was in the process of, uprooting, but it was also snapped in half. And why was that? Because I got into a horrible car accident, ended up in a cast for like 3 months and couldn't move with my family. And I had quit my job to do just that, to support my family 100%. So you can imagine me, the strong, independent woman who was, wanting to be there to support her family. I had to rely on the support and help of strangers. So that was my first lesson, which drove me into what I'm doing today. My second lesson was in Mumbai. I started in Mumbai with a strong social group, networking, doing all the lovely things that Mumbai had to offer. But despite of rarely being alone, I felt so lonely. I felt lonely and unfulfilled. And thank goodness for the support of one of my friends who was getting certified as a coach. I At that point I reconnected with my values and was able to form deeper relationships, and that led me to regain my sense of self and my purpose.
that.
So yeah, Lagos taught me the power of being vulnerable, the strength of asking for help, and also the importance of building that support network. And going to Mumbai taught me the power of myself and the power of my purpose. So these two experiences yeah, they have made me passionate about helping expat partners to navigate their transition in with confidence.
Right.
And since then it's my mission to support them in making this transition as smooth and joyful as possible, because we know transitions are never linear and they're never easy.
This is so good. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I think you can be like really prepared, or you can think you're really prepared for your move, or like you said in your case, and then something happens. I mean,
Yeah.
God forbid, car accidents are really bad, but
Yeah.
you can never be really prepared, and I think that's why. Having a coach to help you to guide you through no matter what circumstances you face really helps you with
Yeah.
that transition. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the pros and cons of moving to another country, a transition? Because I think both of them play an important role. When we're talking about a smooth transition into a new country, right? There's a lot of pros to it as well. So,
Yeah.
love, let's start with the pros and then let's go into the challenges and the cons. And then you can also maybe share tips for how people can deal with those
Yes.
challenges.
Yeah, for me, a big pro is that moving to different countries, you get in touch with different cultures, with different languages, and that has it broadens your horizon. That's what I see. It's sometimes it's hard work, but it does broaden your horizon, because you learn to look at things not only from the way you were taught, but also and you become more flexible. But another and that is also with a challenge because you can only become really flexible when you are really grounded. So that is one of the challenges. But for me, the big pro is the broadening of your horizon and learning about different cultures, different people. Because it's when I moved to Italy, it wasn't only the Italian culture that I came in contact with. I came in contact with the Brazilian culture, the French culture, the Spanish culture. So it really um, broadens your horizon and brings a lot of positivity and to your life.
Yeah, actually, I want to add, I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes we only talk about, oh, we moved to this country, we learn about their culture, but certain countries will have people from neighboring countries there, and then you learn about those cultures as well. So I'm really glad you shared that. Like, for instance, in India, we didn't it wasn't very multicultural. I'm sure I mean, it's cultural in the sense that every state in India is like a country. So you have
Yeah,
someone from Maharashtra or you have someone from Kerala. Their cultures will be so different, but
yeah,
I didn't really meet too many people from outside of India. It's really moving to the US, besides being an expat and learning the US culture, which is
yeah,
its own. It's such a new country that the culture is so different from coming from a really old country like India, an old civilization. But I have met people from so many other countries, especially because I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is a melting pot of, uh, you know, I'd say global citizens, and I have been exposed to so much. So I really love that you brought that up because that's a
yeah,
huge pro. And that's another thing I guess you need to be prepared to, that you're not
yeah,
just going to, right, meet those people, but people from other countries as well. Looks like I'm
yeah.
frozen. So go ahead,
Yes.
Arlette.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, that is for me, and also the languages. And if you're a person like me who loves languages, this is, I just love it to just keep adding. I speak all of them badly, but I do speak them, and I can manage in them. So you were also asking for the challenges the people face. And looking at my clients, what the first thing that I always see happening is when they move to another country, is the overwhelm, not knowing where to start, and that brings with it the feeling that they are falling short in their support. It looks like Nina is thrown out, but I will
I'm
continue.
here,
Oh, you're here. You're still.
but
You're
I'm
listening.
frozen. I live in the
Okay.
Silicon Valley, and you look at it. My technology is like my internet is so slow. It decided to freeze me. So sorry, and I have a
Oh
bad
no, no.
place. But go
No,
ahead.
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, so I was saying, so they, because of the overwhelm, not knowing where to start, they feel like they are falling short in supporting their family and in handling the transition, which brings an immense sense of loneliness. And so I think one also one of the challenges they see that I see with my clients is that they truly think that they are the only one going through this, and we all go through it in one way or another. So that is one, the for me the biggest one to for the first thing that I talk to about with my clients is you are not alone. there are many of us going through something similar, not exactly because everybody is is their own person, but we are all going through a transition, and we all do it in our way. So yeah, that is maybe one, yeah, some of the challenges I see with my clients.
What would you that yeah, no, I think that I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm still frozen, but
Yeah,
I can hear you,
good.
and I appreciate you continuing the conversation despite staring at my frozen face. So I wanted to ask you, in besides the challenges, what are some of the key factors that contribute to a smooth transition to a new country? Because I think that's very important as well, right? What,
Yeah.
yeah, what can you do to help with that?
Okay, so I think from experience, from own experience and seeing with my clients, is first to start with the self. So establish a strong foundation of by identifying and embracing your core values. Not because you move to another country needs you need to change. And I think staying close to yourself, that's what I learned in my first transitions, is staying close to yourself. You attract also the people who are more aligned to you. And so that goes to creating a network. That's the second thing, creating a network of meaningful connections that provide you support and a sense of belonging. And also, yeah, we all need to develop some strategies to handle the practical and emotional aspects of moving, which are many. And one thing is that I always say, also start with yourself. Because if you take care of yourself, you are also better equipped to take care of everybody else, who is depending on you. And that is something that people tend to forget. They are doing everything to accommodate family members, if they're working, their work, but they forget to take care of themselves.
I
And
think that's so important, Arlette, the whole
yeah,
self-care thing, because and for many of us, like, if you come from a country where self-care is not prioritized,
yeah,
you don't even realize that when you move to the new country that you need to take care of yourself, because the focus is
yeah,
always on achieving, on
yeah,
meeting your goals, and settling in. And
yeah,
that gets, I mean, as I said, for some of us, like, I wasn't even aware of it. Not that in India we don't do self-care, but it wasn't a priority. It wasn't
yeah,
something you spoke about. Like here in the US, self care, now people take mental health days off while
yeah,
working. So that's why I like having conversations like this with expats and experts like you, because I want the community to know that these are things you need to pay attention to, especially when you're moving
yeah,
like you do to so many different countries. And
yeah,
you have to navigate a whole, as you said, a new language, new customs,
also,
and then so I think, but one thing that stays constant is, as you said, having
yeah,
confidence in yourself and taking care of yourself. So
yeah.
thanks for sharing that. uh, so maybe you talk a little bit about how you work with your expat clients. What are some things you guide them with in terms of transitioning into a new country, especially either they're single expats or they are moving as
Yeah.
a accompanying partner, or accompanying spouse. Like, what are some things you help them with?
So first, one of the things that is like I think I've mentioned it a couple of times now is the self. So I help them with to stay connected to themselves, to their roots, to stay their authentic self, and give them strategies how to live by your values. Because, for example, for me, communication is very important. In Italy, it was very easy. I just walked into one of the bars, I had a cup of coffee, I was connecting and communicating with people all around. Not a problem. That happened very organically. Moving to Germany, that was something else. You don't have a bar where you walk in and have a cup of coffee and have a chat and leave. When you go for a coffee, everybody is sitting behind their coffee and cake, and they are with their family or friends, but being with themselves. There is no connection. So I miss that. So what did I do? Yeah, I was learning a new language. So I decided every time I go to the butcher, I will strike a conversation with him because I needed that connection. That is still my value, but the way I had to make sure that I got what I needed was different. And you need to search for that sometimes. So yeah, that is one of the things. So I tell to be authentic, live by your according to your values. I help them create routines, to give them a sense of stability and normalcy. Help them create the network because that is so important for our sense of belonging. I help them accept that also change is part of expat life. Sometimes, like me, I was moving to Sao Paulo for a couple of years. It ended up being 1 year, but that is change, and you just move on and you apply what you have learned um, in your next transition. Yeah.
No, that's very helpful. I'm just going to try um, refreshing, and hopefully I won't get cut off because I too don't like seeing myself frozen, Arlette.
Yeah.
So give me a
Okay.
second.
It's
Hope,
good. It's
and
good.
the people who are joining us in the meantime, let us know in the comments where you're calling in from. If you have a question for Arlette, if you have something to add to her conversation, would love for you to share. I'm going to try. Let's fingers crossed. Let's hope I can
Okay.
get myself moving again.
Yeah, yeah, and once you're doing that, Nina, I wanted to say there's one more thing that I think it's so important, and that normally we forget, and that is to seek support from other expat, local friends, coaches, counselors. It doesn't matter, and to share your experience, because the power when you are sharing your experience and you are talking to somebody who has been through something similar and they understand you with when you're saying just maybe a part of the sentence and there's already a recognition, that is so powerful, um, for our sense of self, belonging, confidence, knowing we are not alone. So that is also, yeah, get off the fear of going and looking for help. So I think Nina is, unfortunately, she is off. But I will stay and check some more. Um, like I mentioned before, the importance of reconnecting with yourself during the transition is very important. And a way I try to help and support people to do that is, like I said the first time, connect to yourself, connect to your values, but also celebrate. Really celebrate your the small successes. I think we are living in a world where we have done something and we think we have to move on to the next without taking the time to reflect and think about, hey, I last week I was there and this week I achieved this, and to stand still and celebrate this success. And if you don't have any friends you want to share this with yet, you don't feel comfortable sharing this, share that with your friends and family at home who are there and who are yeah, wanting to hear from you, and not only want to hear when things go wrong, but they also want to hear you celebrate things. So please share your small successes. Yeah. So, and another thing, was I was talking to Nina about, is building those authentic relationships. And sometimes you face obstacles doing that. And one of the things that I have encountered is also not knowing the language, because we tend to assume in the expat world that everybody speaks English. And English being the common language, it's really hard when you don't speak it good enough, in your own opinion, or you don't speak it at all. and that makes it very, very, very hard to make connections because you feel shy. You don't know how to express your feelings, and that makes it sometimes even impossible to, and you don't have the energy then to step out and invest and make that connection and invest in those connections. And that also brings when you can't express yourself, and something, even if you can express yourself, that you have a fear of fitting in and you feel disconnected and isolated. And again, then it's hard to reach out and invest in new relationships. But focusing on the things that you have in common instead of focusing on the differences really helps. And it can be that you like running or you like a certain type of sports, and you start doing that in with a group, or you like dining out and you become a member of a dining group, or a book club because you love reading, a language a language course, which also helps you to connect with other people who are at the same stage as you and trying to learn the language. So those are all things that you can do, and those are to start building and maintaining these relationships and doing those things that align with who you are. So I hope Nina will come and join us in a minute. Um, yeah. So a little bit more about strategies that you can have for when you're trying to create this meaningful connections. So strategy, what I always say is, before you move, start to research the new location, gather information about the local culture and customs, about the social activities and also the communities that are there. Most of especially the big cities, they have expat groups with people from all over the world. And what I personally love about it is that you also have locals who have been abroad, who can they are a source of knowledge about the country and the city you are living in. So this is one of the things you can do. You can also use your current network, and if you're a first timer, try to connect with somebody via your work, your organization you are working for. Try to talk to them before you move, or maybe when you're going for a look and see visit, to connect with people. So when you arrive, you already know somebody. Um, I already mentioned the hobbies that you like, and online groups. That's another thing. You have online groups like Meetup, Here We Are Global, Families in Global Transition, which is not only for families, which have a lot of online and in-person activities, which make it the threshold to go to such an internation is also another one. The threshold to go and take part of such an activity is lower, but it will definitely help you to broaden your network, which is what you will want to do. And yeah, so I hope Nina will be joining us to wrap up, but I'm not seeing her yet. I really, really, really hope I get to see her. So if you want to know more about me, in my work, I offer clarity sessions for clients who want support with like a specific challenge they're working on. And I have personalized one-on-one coaching sessions based on the client's specific circumstances, needs, and goals. And like Nina asked before, what I work on, I already give her some of the examples. Um, what I will do. And if I think one of Nina's questions to me was also, what advice would I give someone who is about to embark on their first expert journey? And again, research the new country and talk to people already living there. Make that connection before you move. And I keep saying this: make that connection before you move, because having that one person already in your corner when you are there and you're tired because multiple things are happening, not going well, and you have that one person that you can just reach out to, who is there with support and knowledge, that really, really, really helps you to have a smoother transition. And stay true to yourself and don't be afraid to ask for help. Stay curious, always ask questions, and embrace to the new culture. And, pick and choose the things that align with you. Like I like my coffee now, just the espresso, just something I picked up in Italy. And these are the small things, but just pick and choose the things that align with you, and also helps you to broaden your horizon. Yeah, looking back, I must say, I was just counting. It's Belgium will be my eighth country. Looking back on my journey, and so I wish I would have had a mentor and a coach or somebody to help me. And the lesson I wish I had known then was to always be my true self, to live by my own values and to make the connections before I move. And the big lesson I learned in before moving to Lagos was also not to be afraid to ask for help, because I have yet to encounter the person that doesn't want to help. We've all been there, we've all been through it one way or another, and we are always keen to help. And yeah, those three things have been key for my smooth transitions, and are helping me now to transition from Sao Paulo to Belgium, to Brussels, and in the time in between. So if you want to connect with me, you can connect via social media. You have LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, or via my website, chatleincoaching.com. You can set up an introductory call, and to access how best to support. I can support you in having a smooth and joyful transition. I really hope she is coming now, and I hope you everything I have told you and a little bit of my own journey can help you. And I am so happy with the platform that Nina is creating for us, and the community that she is creating, to be yeah, for us to connect and learn from each other. Always with curiosity, learn from each other, and take what suits you, what aligns with you, and yeah, and make your life better, because that's what we all want, to make our lives, wherever we are, to have a joyful and fulfilling life. Thank you for being here, and yeah, hope to see you soon.